you can have the best PPC agency in the world, the best campaigns in the world, the best optimized bids in the world, all the research in the world. But if your product is not good, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what, you know, when we're taking on clients for the agency now, we have to go over their store more closely to make sure the products are up to scratch. And if they're not, and the listings and the A+, and if they're not, then we have to move them on to someone that can help them increase the quality of their listing. Because otherwise they won't get good results. We won't be able to get them good results, not because of the lack of trying or the lack of resources that we have or the expertise, but it's, you can't sell something people don't want because it doesn't look appealing enough. So before you try and get good at PPC, before you even hire someone for PPC, whatever you're doing, you have to make sure your product is good and your listings are good. And that's it.
Well, PPC only creates, really PPC is for your product to be seen, impressions. Now the click-through rate and the actual sold, how many you're selling, that is very important based on the listing. You might have a product that's super overpriced. Yes, you get 1 million impressions. Your click-through would probably be bad and nobody will buy it. I think that's what people are confusing. Product is number one, PPC is number two by far.
100%.
Impressions, yes, if you spend plenty of money on PPC and your keywords and everything is great, you'll get a lot of impressions and people see your product definitely, but the click-through rate won't be there. So you'll be spending still a lot of money. And ideally, PPC, you don't want 50% of your sales to come from PPC, in my opinion. Use PPC to rank and then organically start selling, because once you get to those ranks, once you get lower your rank, then you start seeing those organic sales and PPC will be cheaper at that point. PPC is the most expensive at the beginning, but if a product works, PPC should be getting cheaper.
Yeah, like in my opinion, unless you're really seriously scaling and trying to get fast growth, if you're using PPC as the main thing to get your sales, or it's like 20, 30, 40% of your sales, then it probably means your products aren't that appealing. Because if I launch a product, I can tell within a week if my product's got enough traction, it's going to be a good seller or not. I can tell straight away. I can probably tell within the first 48 hours just from the traction that I'm getting from my PPC. So if you're feeling like it's an uphill battle, and you just can't seem to get traction on a product, or if it's costing you £7, £8, £9, £10, depending on the competition, etc. But with bundles specifically, you shouldn't have to spend tons on PPC to get them ranked. That's what I'm saying. You're probably in a really hyper competitive niche if not, and you kind of may as well do private label, if you're going to do that. If you have to spend £7 or £8 per sale consistently on a bundle or something like that, then it probably means you need to upgrade your listing or upgrade your product, and it's just not quite hitting the market. I have launches where I spend 30, 40, 50 pound in 7 days, and then organic just takes over because it's perfect, because the product is perfect, or it's hitting the consumer head on. So yeah, looking at your product first, PPC later, 100%.
And PPC is not something that you just do once and you leave. You need to optimize it all the time, and I think that's what people forget. Obviously, if the listing explodes, which has happened to us, we make a bundle and for some reason it explodes. All right, you can get away with not checking it every day, but in general, you need to check it pretty much every day, depending on your listings. Obviously, if you have 2 listings, maybe it's different. But the more listings you have, the more complicated it gets. That's why at the beginning it doesn't really make sense to hire anyone. You want to learn it. You want to kind of learn the basics yourself, just of how it works, and then maybe it makes sense to get a PPC agency, because once you have more than 30 listings, it becomes a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work.